Whatever.
Hi Playmates, how are you? I know we were all kind of disappointed with the global anniversary event, but looking at all these items to be released in Season 4, I do think that the Exos team have been working their tails off to add more content to the game. It's a long list, so we're just gonna go through this quickly as an overview and go into detail as the content is finally released, while I play back some of my favorite PvP matches from this week so far. There's going to be a new class of hero called Mythic, which will have its own mileage. It looks as this hero is mostly used for PvP and, as they say, like a joker card, kind of like a trump card if you will, in battle. Kind of makes sense as many team compositions, at least in the moment, do not utilize a full nation setup, so having a trump card hero will be an easy substitution for most teams. Not to mention, they're offering the hero for free per se as a reward for daily missions, so that's really cool. And it looks like the Mythic Heroes are going to be pretty much the founders of each of the nations, from what it looks like, the first one being Misty from Northbound Frosty, so it'll be really nice to see all the character designs for this and seeing what the hero stories have to unveil. String of Creation is also getting a revamp, which is awesome because that thing was expensive, let me tell you, and I've been kind of laying off of it for that reason. It may be a good time to get back into it, especially with the additional perks like ultimate orbs being rewards for it now as well. Signature Force is also getting an update with a Union Nation. I was always wondering how this would happen because, as I mentioned in the previous video, there should be, according to the storyline, 7 main nations, although there are many more nations in the world of Exos. The description is kind of hard to decipher, but it looks like these Union nations of like Pydus and Shadowbane, for example, can feed off the upgrades to the main nation based on the Union nation's general's Transcendence level. Wow, that is a mouthful. What's even better is that based on the description, you can use the Union nation's general as a material for the main signature force enhancement. So I think this means, for example, if you were to link Pydus to Lenumbre, for example, you'll be able to use Pydus' general in order to unlock the signature force levels for Lenumbre instead of using Raquel. Once this update gets released though, let's dive into more, as this is going to be an interesting update to the current system. Infinity Core is now opening after a long, extremely long, let's say, preseason. It's interesting that they are reverting back to like having certain fake cores being required to have the buffs or not to have debuffs, kind of like the Hero Gateway, Hero Stories, which they eventually nerf later on. The thing that interested me the most about this is that the rewards will be a new currency called Infinite Crystal, which can be used in Huan's old store for red fake cores. Red fake cores. Not sure what these red fake cores will be, but it looks like it's gonna add a little bit more variety and choices for us in the horizon. And dun dun dun, Ring 2 equipment is finally here. I kind of feel like maybe they're making it a little too easy, like allowing us to keep the existing equipment and properties from Rank 1 equipment. I'm definitely gonna be one of those that benefit from this, but I do feel like maybe it will cause a greater disparity between new players and existing players. But again, it's something that we gotta try out and see exactly what kind of benefits that we'll get from upgrading from Rank 1 to Rank 2, and see if it's like a humongous change from Awakening Heroes and getting the Rank 1 as from the base heroes. Door Creation is also updated. We can now trade in generals for a different random general, but the problem here that I see is that I don't think there's a mileage for this. So I think it will be kind of like use at your discretion kind of deal. It's still good, I mean, whatever, you know? And we can also now use Muse in order to transcend heroes. Again, not sure how this will affect gameplay because Transcendence is definitely a requirement for the signature force, and now that we don't need to get duplicate copies of generals in order to get the Transcendence, you know, it's just gonna make it all that much easier, and now we're gonna have generals with even more element unlocked, so it's just gonna make it, you know, yeah, you know what I mean. Unleash Potential is also getting an update to use a new currency called Arcane Stones for legendary heroes and below. I personally think increasing how we can get solar seals will be a better option instead of increasing the number of different currencies, since we're already getting some new ones in the season update, but it does give us options again, which is not always a bad thing. I just hope that since we can exchange solar seals for arcane stones, that it will be a 1-to-1 ratio instead of some weird thing that they did with the coins. For the convenience changes, one of the best things I see on here is the ability to see buffs and debuffs better. I mean, it's always so hard to tell when you're in battle and there's so many things going on, what's going on. I mean, you could kind of generally remember like what kind of passives and what kind of buffs and debuffs a certain skill will pull off, but it's really hard to know when it's there when it's worn off, when you're not really keeping count and stuff like that with everything that's going on. So hopefully this will make things a little bit more strategic. Although for me, I don't know if I really pay attention to that anyway, but you know, for most players out there, it will be definitely a beneficial update. Anyway, it looks like a lot of new content is around the corner for us in the upcoming weeks. Hopefully all of them will function correctly and all the freezes will be gone. But if you've been off the game, this might be not a bad time to jump back in and see what Exos has to offer. Anything in particular that you're excited for? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like random gaming content, especially on Exos Heroes, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I post every Wednesday and weekends. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and take care.